Mikel, if you can't win, don't lose is a well-worn footballing phrase. Does it apply to Arsenal tonight?
Well, we know that the margins are very small. I think we have two different halves. The first one where we have a lot of domination, created some big situation with players almost inside the 6-yard box to pick a player up, and we didn't find the right pass to score the goal. And the second half was a bit more struggle. We were very imprecise with the ball, which it didn't allow us to counter-press and be very close to the structure. Obviously, they have a lot of midfielders. They start to drop everybody so they can put a lot of passes together outside the organization without really having anybody in the box, because I don't think we conceded a single shot, apart from the mistake that we did in the first half. But, these games then need some magic moment. And at Anfield, so was they did it, and they won the game. And today it didn't happen, but you cannot win it, that you cannot lose it.
You said before the match you kind of knew how they would play from seeing their team. Mm-hmm. Did they do what you expected?
Yeah.
Go on. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, you see the game, so I knew that we're putting a lot of midfielders in. You know what they're going to have. I knew that they're not going to be very aggressive in the high press, that after they're going to want to start to drop everybody, with Wright playing as a false nine and being difficult to press them if you don't regain the ball in the next 3 or 4 passes. And that's what we expected. And then we have some moments where we have the right positional advantages to really hurt them, and when we got into these areas, we lacked that quality to pick the player and score the goals.
Yeah, and maybe a few balls flashed across their goal mouth that you would have wanted someone on the end of.
And 2 or 3 times that Victor is completely free between the keeper and the centre-backs, and a lot of situations that we get there. The final one that we have an incredible cross from Noni, and Gavi is there. Normally it's a goal, and it is not, but that's football. I mean, we come from a very, very demanding schedule. The last 6 games that we play in this Christmas period, and we've come out of that in a really strong position.
Yeah, so just in terms of maybe not only Gyökeres, but probably every attacking player on both sides having a difficult night, would you say that's more down, in Victor's case, to a lack of supply to him than anything he did right or wrong tonight?
No, he did a lot of things right. At the end, the ball has to arrive there to have the opportunity to do it, and you're playing against 2 world-class centre-backs as well. They know very well what to do to stop you. That's why they are the champions.
Can you just tell us, you've obviously worked with them for a long time, the type of character Gabriel Martinelli is, because there's obviously that moment at the end where it looks like Conor Bradley might be seriously injured, and it goes to roll him off the pitch. Has he just made a mistake there, your player?
Probably he doesn't know, because knowing Gavi is zero intention. I don't know what happened to Conor, but hopefully it's not bad. But obviously there is no intention from Gavi to do anything bad to him.
Thank you for answering that. Just summing up the whole period then, you touched on it already. I think you went into the Everton game just before Christmas, actually at kick-off, second in the table. You come out of that schedule 6 points clear. So overall, I guess you feel really positive about what you've done over the last few weeks.
I think the desire and the quality that the boys showed in this period, which is the most demanding one through the year, to do what they've done, big credit to them. And as I said, coming out through that period in the position that we are, I think we have to be proud. There are things to improve as always, and today we're going to get a few of them to be better, and we keep going.
Okay, so it doesn't feel like too much of an opportunity missed tonight?
You want to take all of them, but if that's the case, you will be 15 points ahead, and this is the Premier League, and we all know how difficult it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Well, that was interesting, and that is the target. That remains the target for Arsenal, winning their first title since 2004, and runners-up in the last 3 years. It's now 22 years, or it would be. And so, of course, it's going to be tense, but in the context that Arsenal actually led by 2 points on Christmas Day. And moving on to the 27th, City actually went first that day. So Arsenal went into their game in second place, as Patrick was explaining there to Mikel Arteta. He didn't need reminding, actually. But from that point, to be behind and now to be leading 6 points, then surely that is something that Arsenal have to be very happy about, Roy.
I'd be very pleased, and he spoke well there, the manager, a lot of common sense, yeah. Listen, of course, they've got big challenges, disappointed with the performance, I suppose, tonight, but a clean sheet, another point, and you're 6 points clear after 21 games. What a position to be in, absolutely fantastic, but you have to still believe Man City and Aston Villa will keep trying to hunt them down. It'll be interesting the next few weeks in terms of the transfer window. Will players, obviously, will clubs strengthen? We see what City were going to do. Will Arsenal strengthen? But at this moment in time, Arsenal, obviously, red-hot favourites to win that title.
But might they see it as a missed opportunity, Daniel, as by the same token?
No, I think they'll be pleased with the point. Of course, the first half performance, they would have thought that they could have scored there. But look, you know, they're comfortable at the top of the league right now. They've been performing very well and beaten over the Christmas period. I mean, you know, the manager will be very proud of his team, considering, you know, where they've come from and all that they've put into this season. He's got to be happy.
Well done for maintaining your poise as Gary arrives.
Dishevelled.
In a heap next to you. We're just hearing from Mikel Arteta, Gary, welcome back, on whether this was a missed opportunity or whether they should actually be really happy with where they are. 6 points clear, having been 2 points ahead at Christmas.
I think both. I mean, I don't think he'll let that performance go tonight without thinking it's disappointing that his team haven't turned up. It's such a big game where the crowd were ready. It wasn't a celebration night where they were going to win the league, but it felt like a big monumental moment where they could go and get that 8 points clear, statement victory, everybody watching. But brilliant what Liverpool did in the second half. It's very difficult to actually turn a performance around when you're so defensively minded like they were, to go and then flip it into a dominating possession-based performance in the second half. That was the big surprise, and I think it shocked Arsenal.
That's right. But that took the steam out of Arsenal, didn't it? It's not as if they were counter-attacking them. They were just looking after the ball and took the sting out of the game. Extra bodies in midfield. OK, there's no cutting edge going forward, but they controlled the game in the midfield area, and Arsenal kind of didn't know what to do.
It was a case of moments, wasn't it, Daniel? Mikel Arteta referred to it there, these moments when they got to the byline a couple of times and got the ball back, but there wasn't somebody there to put them away.
Talk to me about Gyökeres, Daniel.
Well, I was just about to ask that question, because he had 7 touches in the game, Daniel. He remains a little bit of an enigma.
It's difficult, to be honest. It is difficult when you're the centre forward and your job is to pin them back.
What's difficult?
I think that the job is to occupy the centre halves. You've got the wingers out here who are causing problems in one-on-one actions, and the movement and the timing is what it's all about.
Do you see the runs from him, though, in the box that go across defenders or go across goalkeepers or get across the near post? When the ball's in those wide areas, I get the fact that he might be being smothered in the general play and it's difficult to get involved in the game.
This is Gabriel Jesus now.
Yeah, that's...
You know, I feel for me that these are the spots that you want your centre forward to be in. Those are the types of balls you want.
Thoughts of Mikel Arteta here live at the Emirates Stadium, where our good friend Manu Petit, his former teammate, has joined us. He was watching the game with us tonight. You heard the manager there. Manu, what did you make of that overall this evening?
I don't know for you guys, but I totally agree with Mikel Arteta. I think after the Christmas time, you know, it's a long period with so many games to play, and with such a positive run, you know, of winning games, and they're still top of the table. It's 1 point today. I think we can be frustrated, but we have to give credit to Liverpool, and they're still 6 points ahead, you know, on top of the table. So I think I want to see the positive side of it, and I'm frustrated, you know. I was hoping something different, expecting something different, especially, you know, creating chances, you know, try to come back, you know, in the second half, especially try to take Liverpool by the neck, just like they've done against Aston Villa here, you know, recently. Yeah. But it never happened. So again, Liverpool is a huge club, huge team. They've been unbeaten for the last 10 games. They're coming back strongly. They've got very good players, knowing that they were playing without strikers today. So I think tactically as well, they show they were brilliant. I think intelligence. I think they show composure as well. So 1 point, I think, as I just said, you know, at the start of the interview, sometimes when you cannot win, you have to do everything, you know, to get a point.
Did it surprise you the way that second half panned out after what Arsenal had done in
Yeah,
first?
because I've seen that against Chelsea away from home. They were playing 11 against 10, and they didn't show, you know, what it takes, you know, sometimes to go and win that game. They did it against City here as well in September when they conceded the first goal, and they were losing confidence. But I remember, you know, I don't know, guys, we won titles, and we all know that winning the Premier League is very difficult, and sometimes, you know, you get points after points, you know. It's a long way to go. So today, I think, at the end of the season, that could be a very good point.
Yeah, and I think if you look at Mikel Arteta, if you said to him before this midweek set of games, Arsenal had the toughest, game playing against Liverpool. So Manchester City, you'd have expected them to win. Aston Villa had a game as well. They've got out of these set of fixtures, one game less. A difficult game out the way, and no deficit in terms of against their rivals. So overall, okay, little bit of a missed opportunity, maybe. But I think if you said to Mikel Arteta 2 days ago, you're still all going to be, on the same points as Villa, Manchester City and Arsenal, it's still going to be 6 points ahead, he would have absolutely been delighted, because that's the hardest game of the lot.
Yeah, and we don't have to play Liverpool again. You know what I mean? The way I see it, obviously, from an Arsenal point of view and an Arsenal fan point of view, I don't like to see Bukayo Saka being taken off. As much as, Noni Madueke came on and done well, I like to see Saka a match stay on. If you're going to bring Madueke, bring him on for someone else, because I just want the best players on to give us the best possible chance in the end to maybe take that corner, whatever it is, what he can do, Saka, to be on the pitch to do that. So I know that he needs rest as well, but I'm always baffled to see a player of that calibre, that good, being taken off for someone else. I was very surprised with that.
Manu?
Well, he's not the only one, that's not been very good today. I think he had a good first 25 minutes. He took advantage, on Kerkez many times, but they were missing, technical skills at the end for the passes and great movement as well in the penalty area. But he was not the only one. I think Odegaard as well had a very difficult game. Jokeres as well. So there is so many players who have been frustrated today.
But overall, Manu, before we let you go, 1 defeat in 18 Premier League games.
That's what I'm saying.
They're learning, they're gaining experience and belief all the time, aren't they?
Of course, and I remember, I don't know if you remember him, but again, when we won the title in 1998, we had a game in winter, during winter, in the midweek.
No, it's Liverpool.
We drew 0-0, and we were booed by the fans at the end.
Yes.
It was a terrible game. We were terrible. We didn't deserve to get...
Even Wrighty was terrible, wasn't he?
We all were terrible. It was a frozen night,
It was freezing, yeah.
We drew 0-0, and we thought ourselves, we didn't deserve to win that game, but at the end we won the title.
Yes.
Let's hope that's an omen.
Yes,
Listen, good to see you. Thank you very much
you,
indeed.
guys.
Manu Petit, as always, with us. Let's get some more Arsenal reaction now. Here's the skipper, Martin Odegaard.
In the circumstances, does it feel like at least a half-decent point, or you stood there thinking, nah, 2 dropped?
Obviously, I wanted to win, so it's always two points drop when you don't do that. We have to look at where we are. We're in a good position. We've had some incredible games, good run of games, good results. And when you can't win, then at least make sure you don't lose. And we'll take the point and move on. So some lessons to learn from the game, but in the end it's a point and we move on.
What did you make of the flow of the match and how that changed first half to second half? I presume you'd agree. First half, you were well on top, and that changed in the second 45 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. I think we were the better team in the first half, controlled pretty much everything, and had a few good moments where we could have maybe scored a goal or whatever. And then second half, they had the ball a lot, they controlled it, but at the same time I felt like they didn't create much. I feel like they only had the 2 shots from that free kicks, pretty much. We could have done more in the second half to create a bit more, but they didn't do much. So I guess the point is a fair result in the end. So yeah.
How much of a factor were conditions? It was, especially that first 20 minutes, really wet.
It was. But that's football here in England. That happens sometimes, and it's a part of the game. And I don't think that affected the game at all, to be fair.
Big picture, though, 6 points clear. Obviously, being negative, it could have been 8. But I mean, spoken to the manager. As you kicked off against Everton, you're actually second in the table. So if you take it as a few weeks or a month's worth of work, it's a good return.
Yeah, we know where we are. We're where we want to be, at the top of the table, and it's not easy to be there in this league. And we have to be happy where we are and make sure we improve all the time. Today we could have done a few things better, but in the bigger picture we're in a really good position. And we just have to keep going, keep building, and keep improving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, 16 points from 18, as we've been mentioning, 6 points. And it is important to remember, if you said to Mikel Arteta in August, right, middle of January, you're going to draw 0-0 with Liverpool and be 6 points clear at the top of the table.
With the squad that you've built this season, absolutely would. The only game I've been as disappointed as this one was the Wolves game here, and we won that one. I always said that we have to win all our own games, but if you're going to play Liverpool and play as poorly as we did and still get a point and be 6 points ahead, we can't complain with that. You know what I mean? Because it's still going to be a good point come the end of the season, depending on how close this gets. So you've got to take the points, take the positivity, and move to the next game.
Yeah, and they're there to be shot at now, as they have been for weeks, which brings I know you want to be top in some ways with 6 more points, but it brings a new added pressure that they haven't had. They've always been the ones relatively chasing Liverpool or City in the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to be the champions, you don't get it handed on a plate. It's going to be difficult. And it's a long time to be in front. But while they've got that cushion, it does take the pressure off. If you're only 2 points clear and you think, oh, one slip up and it could be the other way around, but while they've got this cushion, it does take that pressure off a little bit. So they're in a wonderful position. They're not conceding many goals at all. They've got lots of different options in attack. Yes, they didn't score today, but that was a clash of the big hitters today. Reigning champions against champions-elect. It was first one to blink, really. I thought it might be a few goals. The conditions were wet and a little bit blustery. But I thought there might have been a few goals. And maybe if there had been an early goal, it would have opened up. But, you know, both sets of defenders, both pairs of centre-halves are as good as you're going to see in world football at the minute. You've just probably seen 4 central defenders. Yes, Konate's not had a great season, maybe Van Dijk as well. But in general, those 4 centre-halves are as good as you'll watch in world football.
Michael says, though, when you go to the final stages of the game, the final seconds, we know their threat from set pieces. Joint most goals from corners this season. Should Gabriel have done more with this, right?
Of course he should. Well, you know, I don't want to tell Gabriel he's done so much for us in respect of winning games for us and what he's done for us this season, but I'm thinking that's got to go back across the goal. I think he's missed the whole thing. You can see them on the line and they can't believe it, because that would have been it. That would have been maybe the chance, a set piece. But it wasn't good technique from him in the end there. But I'm not going to dig Gabriel out for the amount of points he's got for us this season.
Yeah, it was a big chance, and as I say, I mean, Arsenal play to their strengths. They're very, very strong, very organised. They're good at set pieces. That would have been a killer for Liverpool to have conceded late on. But as I say, they're an efficient machine, Arsenal, and I can't see them slipping up too much. I mean, a bad result for them is pretty much a 0-0 draw, because, as I say, they're so good at the back. They're so, you know, strong and well drilled that, you know, that's going to carry them, I feel, to the title this season. It's you know, even though Liverpool played well, not sure did you say a minute ago they didn't even have a shot on target
for the first time in 16 years in the Premier League.
I mean, and Liverpool, you know, played well, attacked really well in the second half, but any of their efforts really were long range. They were free kicks, they were long range shots, and it just shows you how really good and how hard they are to play against Arsenal.
Indeed. But Arne Slot has now led Liverpool 4 times as manager against Arsenal. He's still unbeaten. Here are his thoughts at the end of tonight's 0-0 draw.
Well, Arne, you said in the run-up to this match, we have the quality to go there and put up a fight. Did you absolutely show that tonight?
Yeah, I think we did. In the first half, they were the team that played most on our half. Led to a few moments of crosses, but not too big chances, I think. And in the second half, it was exactly the opposite, where we dominated ball possession for almost the whole 45 minutes played on their half. So yeah, the only thing that missed maybe from my side for our team was that, again, not for the first time, from all that ball possession, all that moments around the box. Yeah, you're hoping for to create even more chances, but against an Arsenal team that had so great momentum, still have great momentum, to put a performance like this is something where I'm very positive about.
Why did the game change so much in your favour in the second half?
No, I think there were already spells in the first half where we showed how good we are in ball possession. But we kept on doing that in the second half, and then we kept them on their 18-yard box, and when they kicked away, we picked up the ball again. So, but even in the first half, our maybe biggest chance of the game also came from 15, 20 passes in a row, I think. So I saw a lot of good moments in the first half. Second half, I think the way we defended was a bit better than the first half. We had to adjust one or two details.
Can you tell us what those details were?
No, it wasn't that much, but there was constantly a 3 against 2 that we had to defend. And then, I mean, their 2 centre-backs with their number 6. And I think we did that better in the second half than the first half, which made it even more difficult for them to get in the positions they did get in the first half. So, and in combination with us being good on the ball, yeah, I'm maybe in the end still a little bit disappointed that we didn't win, but a good performance.
Yeah, does it feel like a performance that's a big step forward, or is it just the case that actually for most of the season you've actually been quite good in these big games? It's the different types of games against low blocks, lower teams in the division that just don't suit you as well at the moment?
I've said 150 times already that against certain opposition we can, certain playing styles we're a very good team, and against certain playing styles we struggle. And maybe you could even see that today, although people are now positive that we kept the ball so long, but even against the low block of Arsenal we struggled to create chances. So that is something we would like to do better. But in all the big games we played this season, I think, except maybe for City away, although there was a big incident that went against us just before half-time. And I think for all the other games we've showed that we can compete with any other team, but we've struggled too much against low blocks. That's why we are, as one of the reasons, so many points behind them. And of course, it's good that we show going into the second half of the season that we can compete with any team in England, but I think also in Europe.
What is possible in the second part of this season for Liverpool? I think the gap between you and Arsenal is 14, which, I don't know, you tell me, it seems like too much, but obviously there are, in terms of qualifying for the Champions League itself, there is still an awful lot to play for.
Yeah, and don't forget the FA Cup, which is the next game coming up. So, let's first hope that the injuries we have, we come back as soon as possible. But I'm afraid that another injury has come up today, because let's hope for the best, but I fear the worst for Conor Bradley.
Did that upset you at the end? Not just the injury, but the way particularly Gabriel Martinelli handled it?
I think if a player of us is on the floor, people might know by now that is... Normally I say 99 out of 100 times, or maybe I should say 100 out of 100 times, then there's something wrong with that player. And I think you could see this. So, yeah, you don't like to see a player being moved if he might have such a big injury. So, yeah, that was indeed an incident that happened, that I didn't like to see one of my players being moved out of the pitch if he might have such a big injury, which we don't know yet, but might be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is a concern for Liverpool, and of course for poor Conor Bradley, who's been so unfortunate with injury. Some fairly strong words there from Arne Slot. The incident was just down to our right-hand side here with the challenge on the Northern Ireland International, and then the reaction from Gabriel Martinelli. What did you make of this, Michael?
Well, first of all, yeah, it does look a nasty one. There looks like there's a roll of the ankle there, and he's in some pain. You see him tapping the floor. It's an awkward one, because 9 times out of 10 players can go down and can stay down. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with Arne Slot there. Frimpong stayed down when he thought there was a penalty early in the first. I think there was no way he was hurt there, but he stayed down. You know, I don't necessarily agree with that. However, that's poor. Throwing the ball at him to start with, and then pretending that you are concerned by patting him and saying, "Oh, are you okay?" and then sticking your knee in him and trying to push him off, and then using your arms to push him off. That's not good. And obviously it's made worse by the fact that it could be a serious injury. You know, and as I say, 9 times out of 10, it's okay to do that. People play acting, people are wasting time, whatever. But there was no reason for Liverpool to waste time at the minute. They were having a good second half. And the outcome of it, if Conor Bradley is seriously injured, it's not a good look for Martinelli. Not at all.
Can you understand why the Liverpool players were incensed there?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I'm sure, I know Gabriel Martinelli, and I know that he's not a mean-spirited person. The fact is, he's probably the latter stage of the game, feels like they're under pressure, trying to win the game. Last stages, that's out of order. Absolutely, there's no excuse for that. And you can see now, you can start to see that he looks like he's in pain. So that don't look good on his point of view. And again, look from his point of view, he's thinking that he's gone down, the game's over nearly, and he's wasting time. That's what he's thinking. Has he taken that from the fact that Frimpong was doing it in the first half? I don't know, but there's no excuse for that. I can't really say anything other than he probably thought it wasn't as injured as he was.
Yeah.
And how much do you feel for Conor Bradley? Because it seems just when he gets in the Liverpool team, when he gets a run in the Liverpool team, something like that happens to him.
Yeah, and it's not like a repetition of the same injury all the time, is it? It's different injuries.
Yeah. Well, let me just give you this stat. His longest run of consecutive starts in his Premier League career is 8.
Wow.
And not so long ago, I was reading numbers, maybe only about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and someone told me that he's actually been injured about 50% of the time. He's not been available for selection in about 50% of games in the last 2 years. For somebody that's very young, that's not a great stat, obviously. And it's the reason why when Trent Alexander-Arnold left, Liverpool didn't just sit back and think, right, Conor Bradley's our right back. They had to go and get cover because of that injury record. And of course, Frimpong then came in. Ironically, he got injured as well, and we've seen Endo play there. We've been seeing Szoboszlai, we've been Curtis Jones, we've been Gomez. You know, there's lots of different stand-in right backs.
Does that make this, what Arne Slot thinks is a serious injury, even more of a worry now going forward? Because it's been a problem position with all those players you've just listed having to play there.
Of course, so they have got cover. As I say, you know, Frimpong's back playing now. He might have to revert to right back if Conor Bradley's injury is as bad as we first fear. Then they've got other people that can play out a position, let's say. However, it's not good, obviously, being young and getting injured so many times. I know, I felt it myself. It's the most frustrating, horrible thing in the world. I know people think, oh, you paid for this, you paid for that. It's... When you're 8 years old, when you're 10 years old, when you're 12 years old, you don't think of money, you don't think of anything else other than this, playing against Arsenal, playing in these big games. You just want to play football. All the fame, everything else comes with it, fantastic. But the main thing you want to do is kick a ball around with your mates. And it's so heartbreaking when that gets taken away from you. A bit of bad luck, whatever it might be. And it's happened again, sadly.
You know, you could see the way he was trying to clear that ball. It was an awkward kind of turn what he done on his, you could see it, and you can almost see the way he kicked the ball out. When you watch him, he's there, you could see that Gabriel Martinelli, he actually wasn't looking at him, so he wouldn't have seen how he's gone down. So all that, again, I don't even like seeing it, all that's happening, but he's not seen that, because as soon as I saw that, the way he went down trying to clear it, he wasn't in contact with anybody, so I'm thinking, you know what I mean, he's done something there, and that's not good. It doesn't look good. I'm really sorry to see that. Hopefully it's not too bad for him.
Yeah, we keep our fingers crossed for Conor Bradley. So he didn't finish the game, but in the first half, ironically, he was the closest to breaking the deadlock with this situation that happened.
Great play from him, wasn't it?
It was.
Really good play.
Liverpool did this a couple of times, right, as well. Played out from the back, really nice 1-2 touch football. Breaking quite quickly. I mean, it was Arsenal's first half, no question about it, but it was a nice move, and then the ball breaks back to Bradley. We were just debating, you were saying maybe if you go a little bit higher, take a bit of the pace off further into the corner.
Kind of tried to curl it over towards the post because it's gone so straight. Look, it's
flat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's flat. It just needed a little bit of like that loop towards the post. But like, he's a defender. He's only scored one goal for Liverpool, but it's a great effort from him. But like, it's just got too much pace on it.
And with less pace, Timber may get back. I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a great effort. Great effort. His through ball was pretty average, actually. It should have been a better one to Frimpong. But when the ball came back to him, he did pretty much everything right.
Just a quick one on what Arne Slot was saying there about trying to break teams down who defend deep and sit behind the ball. It's a problem. He gets a bit spiky when he's asked about it, Arne Slot, but he's just admitted it is an issue. They have work to do there in terms of that.
But it is the hardest thing to do, of course, when you're counter-attacking, when you're playing against less people, let's say, then it's obviously easy. There's more space. When you're playing against a deep defence that are defending in numbers, there's no space in behind. It takes a little bit of craft. It takes width. It takes a Wirtz to be in those pockets, and that's probably what they bought him for, to be good in those tight spaces. And it takes a lot of the time an early goal. And an early goal then opens things up. The longer it goes, the harder it becomes. Long-range shooting as well. You know, you become a little bit desperate. That's what Liverpool have ended up doing a little bit today. But, yeah, low blocks will always be difficult to score against. That's why people do it. That's why people come here to the Emirates and play against Arsenal, and a lot of the time they do it themselves.
The thing about it is the player that they had, what was brilliant in that situation, Luis Diaz. So if you're not going to replace like for like for the low block, then you're probably going to end up with games like that, because you look at Frimpong, unbelievable pace, he gets down there, but his end product seems to be something that he's lacking at the moment. But like, you get rid of a Luis Diaz who can open teams up with a low block with his skill, his trickery, and you lose that and you don't replace that, then you are going to have a problem with it.
OK, that is the Liverpool reaction. We will get the Arsenal.
What do you make of that incident at the end there, Roy? It seemed a bit messy, didn't it, on the touchline?
No, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Happened to me once before when I was badly injured and a player stood over me, and yeah, it's not good, because clearly we could see, listen, we know football, we know players' reactions, we know he's a good lad. First of all, throwing the ball on him, standing over him, and if he's got a little knee in him here, if you watch it closely, he's trying to force him off. And I'm surprised the Liverpool players didn't go after Martinelli a bit more. I think Martinelli, that behaviour is absolute disgrace, because he's a good boy to roll around himself. So, no, not good scenes. Hopefully Martinelli will have a look at it and hopefully apologise for it.
And he's someone who's actually had a serious knee injury himself, Daniel.
It's disappointing to see, to be honest with you. You know, there's passion, there's being a winner, there's wanting to help your teammates, but you got to be respectful as a football player. You know, in moments in the game, especially with injuries, I've been someone who's had injuries, and it's never a nice feeling. I can see maybe he's thinking, oh, time wasting, but brother, you got to be self-aware enough to know, like, okay, cool, the guy's down, like you've been there before. And it's just disrespectful, probably even worse than disrespectful, to be honest with you. It's just disappointing to see.
Know your players as well. Know your players. You know what's under reaction. You could tell he's obviously injured.
In the sense that it wouldn't be something that Conor Bradley would do lightly?
Obviously not. I don't think he's the type of kid to do that. And if you're standing over, you don't know the injury the player's got. Again, it looks pretty bad. You're trying to push him off the pitch. Not good stuff, that.
Conor Bradley it was who came closest to scoring tonight, for both sides.
Yeah, he did, and it was almost like a strange sort of action, you know. It was obviously great play from Liverpool. I think it was 20-odd passes, I think it was before. But then you think the pass, oh, can the pass be a little bit better? But this here from Saliba, and he's trying to guide it into that far stick, and you're thinking, yep, he's done it. But
did he do sort of everything right in that moment, Daniel?
Clearly not, because he didn't.
apart from actually scoring.
He's a fullback.
He's a fullback. He's a fullback. So you give him the benefit of the doubt and say, look, man, he's executed the technique as good as he possibly could have, but it's a distance out as well. Two people to beat. It's an empty net, but the tech is.
It would have been great if Liverpool had scored. Obviously, you're thinking then we'd see another side to Arsenal, but it wasn't to be. But I think a really good effort.
Talk me through Jeremy Frimpong's night as well.
It was just so close. Everything was so. It was almost like he did so much tonight, so much excitement. You know, I got off my seat many times. And you know, he's such an exciting player to watch. His acceleration is blistering. The way in which and then he's got the ability to cut back on his left foot if he needs to and put a nice ball in. And he does this consistently. This isn't something that you know, he's done this throughout his career. Even when he was at Bayern, he was a goal scorer. He wasn't just a right wing back who you'd look at. He's got so much tools in his artillery. It's just slow it down sometimes and pick that final pass and make sure you execute it.
Yeah, well, what will define him his time at Liverpool here, and he was a handful tonight and he got him up the pitch and in general done very well. But as we know, the key will be that end product, you know, that final pass, that decision making. If you see, he was a handful without a doubt in his movement, you can see. But it's just that pass here, even I'm looking at it here, just pick the right pass. And I think the defender actually gets a touch on it and his intentions are right. But that'll define you at this level, your final pass or your decision making, the quality of it. And again, tenacious enough. And again, listen, I'm not saying these are all necessarily bad balls, but his decision making has to improve.
He'll be proud of his performance tonight, though, and he'll know going home on the coach, like, you know what, I could have got an assist tonight, could have done a little bit more. But he'll be proud of himself because he's had injuries this season. He's not a player who's been playing week in, week out, so he's finding his feet, he's finding his form. It was a big night for him tonight, especially filling in on the right wing, which isn't his natural position.
But should it be?
Sorry?
Should it be his natural position? I mean, where do you see his future in this Liverpool team? We might have seen an injury to Conor Bradley, so he might be forced back to right back.
I think he was signed as a right back, but he gives you so much flexibility. He could play on the left wing. Clearly, with the pace he's got, he's always going to be a threat running in behind. And that right wing position as well, he can play that position. So that's what it's about as a player. You want to give your manager...
He looks more comfortable higher up the pitch, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
He does look comfortable.
I mean, in the end, right, we can talk about the defensive side, which we've not really seen from him yet, but we know going forward, the threat he is tough.
And the game suited him tonight. You know, they were sitting in, there was going to be more space for him. So it was a kind of ideal game for him tonight.